Welcome back, everyone. This is Tuplex, and let's continue playing Factorio. We've just gotten our green and red signs set up, and we're researching Military 2. You can see it's going very quickly. Our power is getting overloaded. So let's go and upgrade our electrical production before we do much else. Okay, Military 2 is research. That'll give us the ability to make grenades and better ammunition. And I'd like to do a gun turret upgrade. And again, with 20 labs and all of those science packs, we're going to be able to do research at a pretty quick rate. All right. But let's come down and add some more steam power before we do much else. I need iron plate because I want to add a couple more mining drills for our coal there as well. We'll just put 2 more. I think that'll be enough. Yeah, see, you can, if you hover over these, we can see that they're not getting much electricity. That means that they're going to slow down. And that will only make power production go down, and you get into a negative feedback loop where the less power you make, the less coal you mine, the less coal you mine, the less power you make, and things start to go downhill pretty quickly from there. So that's why we need to stay on top of that. And now that we have red and green science, I would like to start to move fairly quickly towards solar power so that we can avoid having to set up a lot of steam power. I think we can probably get to solar, you know, without having to go with more than, say, 4 of these steam power lines. At least that's my wish. Okay, and we can get to electric furnaces here before too long. So let's do, but we're going to need red circuits for electric furnaces. To make red circuits, we need plastic. To do plastic, we need oil. So rather than start to do advanced material processing now, let's start moving towards plastics and red circuits. Because I just want to skip past steel furnaces completely, if we can. Because it's kind of a waste to do those if we're going to be upgrading to electric anyway. Okay, so there are the furnaces that we need. I know I made some pipes. Here they are. Whoops. Okay, and we need an offshore pump. Okay, advanced electronics are done. So we could start to do solar. No, but we said we're going to do oil. Let's do oil next. Get our oil set up. You know, with solar power, ideally you want to have capacitors. Do they call them capacitors in this game? Let me see. What do we call those? Accumulators. I know they're capacitors, but yeah, they're called accumulators in the game. Ideally, you want to have accumulators as well as solar panels so that you can run off of your accumulators at night and solar panels during the day, and charge the accumulators during the day. One of the reasons I like to use this EvoGUI is because it shows how much sunlight you have. So you can see up here in the upper left, it says brightness 100%. It shows the time of the day, in the game day. So that lets you know how much solar energy you can get. So if we had solar panels out right now with 100% brightness, we would be making 100% of the output of those solar panels. It is beneficial to use only solar panels, because then at least during the daytime you're not burning coal to produce steam. So even if you don't have accumulators yet, it's not a total waste to start making solar panels, because it will reduce your pollution, at least during the daytime hours, which is actually most of the time. Now I think full daylight is 12 hours, or maybe a little bit more than 12 hours. But even in the transition between full daylight and dark, you can still generate solar power. So like I said, it's beneficial to do that. All right, let's get rid of this science pack. And the next thing I would like to start doing is setting up green circuits. All right, so our power is okay for now. Let's take a look at our map. We should still do some biter elimination. I'd like to take care of this nest down here. So let's grab some ammo and go do that, and then when we come back, we'll start to set up green circuits. I'm gonna pick that up, we don't need that anymore. Okay, and I think I'm gonna stop making... No, I was gonna say I think I'm gonna stop making yellow ammo, but let's not be too hasty. We're still gonna need a lot of ammo, and since I don't have red ammo set up yet, I think it would be too early to rush into shutting that off. Alright, so I'm gonna grab some iron plates. Okay, fluid handling is done. Let's research plastics. We'll research plastics and sulfur, and then we can start thinking about doing red circuits. Actually, we might want to set up another iron line, since we're running low on iron. But okay, we'll get those blue assemblers starting to be crafted. Check my power again. Okay, and let's go down and take out these enemy bases. We've got some repair packs, we've got wooden boxes, we've got turrets, and we have a lot of ammo, which is now upgraded somewhat. Or the turrets are upgraded somewhat, I should say. And you know, half of the time we're in daylight, but it seems that every time I go to fight biters, I do it at nighttime. I think that's just bad luck on my part, or bad planning. I shouldn't blame luck for my misfortune. It's probably just bad planning. I could wait until the daylight to do this, but I don't. There have been games where I don't use solar, and there's a console command where you can set it to be always daylight. And if you're not going to do solar, I mean, I guess it's not realistic to be in daylight all the time, but it sure makes things a lot nicer to not have to deal with the dark. Okay, good. So that went a lot more smoothly. I think partially because there were no worms this time, but also those turret upgrades and bullet damage upgrades definitely make a big difference. In fact, I was reading on, I think it was on the Factorio forum, that if you have, should we do sulfur? Let's do some more damage upgrades. I was reading on the Factorio forums that if you have your turrets well upgraded, you know, you have several levels of the damage upgrades and bullet upgrades, that you can go fairly late into the game using just the basic yellow ammunition pretty effectively. So I might try to do that. Let's see how that works. Let's stay with this yellow ammo in our turrets and gun turrets for as long as we can. Eventually we're going to go to laser turrets. But I want to see how effective these are as we get into the game. That'd be interesting. Okay, power's still good. Let's craft some fast inserters. Yeah, we're using all the iron we can make now. So I think it would be a good idea to add another iron line here as well. I don't think we're going to be able to wait until we have electric furnaces. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do, as I mentioned before, is to, well, first let's finish this discussion about ammo. So the base ammo has 2 damage plus 0.2 physical, and the magazine size is 10. The piercing rounds have 5 damage and 0.5 physical, so more than twice the damage. But they're considerably more expensive. 2 iron plate versus 5 copper and 1 steel. And 1 steel takes, what is it, 5 iron plates? Yeah. 5 iron plates, so you get more than twice the damage, but it takes more than twice the resources. So it seems like a good balance. All right, let's add more iron production before we even go to circuit production, because we're not even going to have enough iron to make the circuits. Okay, so we said we were going to expand northwards. So let's go ahead and set up another line here. And we can do that pretty quickly. All right, so that's gun turret damage 2. We can even do level 3. We can even do level 3 before we need blue science. Bullet damage 2. Let's do bullet damage 2 first, because that requires fewer science packs. And I think I've mentioned before, to the best of my knowledge anyway, I haven't tested it myself, but what I've read on Factorio forums is that bullet damage upgrades will also benefit turret damage, gun turret damage. So by doing the bullet damage upgrades, we're helping our submachine guns, and we're also helping our gun turrets. Okay, and a space of 2, again, as before. So we can upgrade those later. Okay, and we'll put down our 2 splitters. We're doing those on the high side of the output line. Oh, that's got to go the other way. There we go. I'm using a different keyboard than I was when I started doing these videos. I really like mechanical keyboards, and so for a long time I've been using a Black Widow Ultimate mechanical keyboard, which feels really nice. I can type super fast with it, and I love the racket that it makes. I know I know some people don't like a loud keyboard, but it makes my nerd juices start to flow. Sorry if that's a gross image for some of you guys. but I really like them. But I also upgraded my microphone recently to a Blue Yeti microphone, and it has a desktop stand. And what I was finding is that having that microphone sitting on the desktop right next to my keyboard was picking up way too much keyboard noise. So now I'm using it's another Razer keyboard, but this one is a Lycosa, I believe is what it's called, which is not a bad keyboard. It feels pretty good, but it's not as gloriously noisy as the Black Widow is. Okay, so bullet damage 3 and turret damage 3 are both the same cost. That would give us a 20% bonus. Bullet damage would also give us so we might as well do bullet damage first, I suppose, since that will benefit our handheld guns as well as the turrets. Okay, let's set up some inserters. I just want to see something here. Can I? No, those still have to be picked up. Okay, I need to make more red inserters, which we can do fairly quickly. I just wanted to see if I could plop down a yellow inserter directly on top of the red one, but you can't. It's not really considered an upgrade. It's just considered to be different. And the reason I wanted to check that is because if I put it up here instead of down here, then I could just replace it with yellow later on when I upgrade my furnaces just by clicking on it, which would be quicker and easier. But that's not going to work. So we're going to have to pick them all up anyway and put down new ones when we upgrade the furnaces. These yellow inserters that are here next to the output belt, those will be able to stay in the same place for the most part. We may have to move one or two of them because we'll have to put down different electrical poles. Okay, so this is going to be belt 2 of iron, which is pretty exciting. We're already starting to require some higher capacity. I'm not going to waste an underground belt there. Okay, and then we're going to have to move these splitters and place another one below it so we keep our belts balanced. Okay, so I think we should be good on iron for the near future. Yeah, see, this is running out of resources over here. And that's slowing our science down. So hopefully with this additional iron line, we can see now we've got pretty much a full belt coming in here. So this will get back to running at full speed again. And we can start to think about green circuits. So let's talk about green circuits. In my last playthrough, I did this type of design for green circuits, which I like because it's pretty easy to set up. And you have one line of copper coming down the back, another line of iron, and then your output line. Pretty simple. It's not very compact though, so at least not in the north-south direction. I think it is probably more compact in the east to west direction. But I thought we would do things a little bit differently this time. So let's do the more traditional layout, which is going to be 3 into 2, like this. And I know that there are a lot of fans of this build. I think that's probably a more common one. So we'll do it this way on this playthrough. And there's a couple ways to feed iron into this. One way is you can have belts of iron coming across like that and pick them up from the sides. The other way, which is probably more common, is to have an output line, or have a line of iron coming up the middle, have your output there, and then more iron like that for the other side. You know, so if you have more assemblers over here. If we do that, then that means that the outputs will need two long-handed inserters for the output in order to make them go fast enough. But I think this is probably better for from a throughput standpoint than this. I've done it both ways, but let's do it this way. We will do it this way on this playthrough. We can always change it later if we think we need more capacity. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that set up. I think getting one set on each side will be sufficient for the time being. Okay, so we'll run one line of copper, put some underground belts, and our splitter. Okay, and then we're going to do one fast inserter into each of those, and then one out, with the exception of this one in the middle, which gets two out. And then for iron, we need to make more of those. And we're going to have to wait for those. Actually, let me go pick up some of the yellow ones here, because it looks like we have to craft yellow ones first in order to make the blue ones. Okay, so we'll have a fast inserter coming in with iron, and then two red ones going out. And that should allow us to go at maximum speed on our output. So let's power this up. Let's see, we can do one there and one there. One power pole in the middle. And we're going to need 1, 2, 3 of those. Okay, and we'll set up those 3. You can shift right click to copy a recipe from farther than what your actual reach is in the game. Just FYI. Put a light there on each side. Okay, and again, iron coming in, copper going out, and copper coming in. Let's take out these trees. Okay, now let's get our iron input lines set up. And as soon as we do that, this one on the left should start to run. Okay, I need another splitter. And hopefully this will be the last time that we have to make circuits manually, because that is a rather time-consuming thing to have to do. Well, let's see. Sorry about that, getting a little confused with my belts here. Okay, let's make sure we've got this right and that this is running at full speed. Take a look here. Yep, that's running with no pauses. So I think that is the right way to set it up. Okay, so let's get our power over here. How did we do this? We put one there and one up there. Okay, and then we just need to get some copper to the other side. All right, let me grab some circuits. All right, and we made splitters without having to wait for intermediate parts. It's a good feeling. Okay, underground belt, chop down a tree, another underground belt. Okay, and once that copper gets up there, we'll have almost a full line of circuits. We forgot our outputs here. Oh, and we forgot iron. Okay. And I'm drinking coffee, so I can't explain these lapses in my thought process. Apologize for that. There we go. Let's extend that bus over with its copper friend. Okay, now we've got circuit bus. And I want this to come down to its place. Now we said we were going to have 4 lines of copper. And then a space of 2, 1, 2, and then 2 green circuit lines. So let's get that set up. This may be an issue later. Once that splitter moves all the way up to the top, it'll be a little bit too large. Okay, so we now have green circuits on our bus along with iron and copper. I think that's a good amount of progress for today. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you real soon.